As one person once said, there's nothing more satisfying than witnessing slow unfolding retribution. Today, we will refresh our memories with bouts where the participants had no warm feelings towards each other. For fans of good guy versus bad guy showdowns, today's segment will certainly be enjoyable. Bob Shriber versus Melvin Manof. On March 16, 2003, in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, a mixed martial arts tournament under the 2H2H organization took place. In the main event, local athletes Melvin Manof and Bob Shriber faced each other. Manof was 11 years younger than his opponent and was considered the clear favorite. Indeed, 26-year-old Melvin, nicknamed No Mercy, was a promising fighter successfully combining kickboxing and MMA performances. On the other hand, 38-year-old Shriber was at the twilight of his career, coming off a series of 3 consecutive losses. Everything seemed quite obvious. Throughout his career, Melvin was known for his extremely provocative and aggressive behavior towards opponents. In this fight, No Mercy decided to stick to his usual tactics. Even before the start of the match, Manof behaved extremely boldly. The black athlete demonstratively refused to shake hands with his opponent, who waited for more than 5 seconds for the traditional handshake. Melvin, arrogantly keeping his hands on his hips, only stared at Shriber. However, Bob reacted very calmly to the opponent's hooligan behavior, shaking his head slightly. The beginning of the fight turned out to be simply horrible for Bob Shriber. Manof began to beat his opponent from the first seconds of the meeting. 26-year-old Melvin was more technical, faster, and tougher than his aging opponent. It seemed that the fight would not last more than a few minutes. Such was the overwhelming advantage of our black fighter. Indeed, in several episodes of the fight, there was a feeling that the referee was ready to stop the fight and award victory to Manof. However, Bob Shriber endured all his opponent's attacks stoically and was far from being broken mentally. Shriber waited for Melvin's attacking burst and slowly began to act himself. Bob realized that he was losing to his opponent in a stand-up fight by all parameters and decided to focus on wrestling. It should be noted that Melvin Manof, being an excellent kickboxer throughout his career, was very weak and vulnerable in wrestling. So Shriber waited for the moment and managed to take Melvin down. The rest was a matter of technique. Bob unleashed a series of unanswered strikes on Manof and forced the referee to stop the fight. The fight itself lasted exactly 4 minutes. This is how another cool guy paid the price for his overconfidence.
Melvin Manof, the man in black, is so fast. Incredible. I haven't seen Bob Shriber being treated like this in many years. He is very, very careful, the old fox. But Manof, he wants it so desperately, wants to make his name. Refuse business. This is where Shriber must fight. That's maybe a possibility. Throwing him to the floor, and now he can use his weight to pin Manof down to the floor, punching him in the face. Of course, you can see that Manof doesn't really know how to handle this situation. He's only protecting his face without really trying to neutralize the hands that are punching. Punches are raining down on the face of Melvin Manof. Full power blows to the head, full power blows, and there's no answer coming there, and he's almost unconscious. I think there's a big problem there. It's out, it's over. Melvin Manof is not really responding to the actions of Bob Shriber. And now there is confusion. The corner of Melvin Manof is very upset. And that's of course a very sad thing to happen for this great event. The great fighter Melvin Manof, who gave such a wonderful performance, is now being taken care of by Peter Hopman, one of his longtime trainers. Bob Shriber addressing the crowd has really become so restless now and afraid that things might erupt through the race courtroom. Both Shriber.
Irbis Ayala versus Drew Chapman. The match took place at the LFA 36 tournament in March of 2018. In the first round, Ayala found himself in a heavy knockout. However, it seemed insufficient for Chapman. He stood on his opponent's back and did a somersault from there. For this act, Chapman received disqualification, and the victory was awarded to Irbis.
He hit his knee on the way down and knocked himself out. Boop. Boop. Yeah.
Knocked himself out.
Wow. Yeah.
Michael Paige versus Douglas Lima. Michael Paige is not well liked, even by the judges. His behavior is too provocative. On May 11th of 2019, Paige was harshly punished for his antics. In the semifinals of the welterweight Grand Prix, Venom faced another Brazilian, Douglas Lima. Paige was considered the undisputed favorite and behaved in his usual manner. Hands down, dance-like movements, and trash talking during the fight. In the third minute, Lima managed to take Paige down, and the fighters grappled on the ground until the break. In the second round, Venom became more active, delivering a powerful jumping punch to his opponent. This successful move and an unwavering confidence prompted Paige to engage in another clownish act. He stood up, clasped his knees with his hands, and boldly stared at Lima. Lima waited for Michael to change his stance and skillfully knocked him down with a low kick. Paige started to get up, but immediately received a monstrous uppercut, ending up in a deep knockout. Lima managed to land two more hard-finishing blows, securing a sensational victory.
Douglas Lima has just defeated Michael Venom Paige in impressive fashion. What a sequence!
Ben Wynn versus Julian Wallace. Julian Wallace displayed extraordinary arrogance, behaving like a show-off in the best MMA traditions. Ben Wynn, an Asian American, faced him, behaving like an ordinary guy. Nothing more was needed, as arrogance solves nothing. It was an unforgettable brawl for Julian, at the end of which he decided to take a little rest on the canvas. Joe Harding versus Johan Segas. At the British Challenge MMA 18 tournament, a match between amateur fighters took place, ending with a bizarre knockout. Johan Segas and Joe Harding clashed in the cage. During the fight, Harding teased his opponent, demonstrating with his appearance that he was invincible. At some point, Segas caught Harding, who was attempting another dance, and delivered a devastating head kick, sending him into a severe knockout.
Right there, and he mugs a little bit to the audience.
He mugs to the audience, landing that punch and having him not show anything. Now he goes back to the showboat.
Oh, nice spin kick.
So again, a lot of showboating by Joe in this second round. The high kick that lands and then a jab to follow it up. Again with the jab.
Oh! This always sinks!
And that's exactly what I said is you don't do that kind of stuff. Ends up getting pain for it.
And Segas just...
And Zoraziev versus Vaso Kotovich. Before the fight, in his speech, Vaso Kotovich, a Montenegrin, managed to say a lot of bad things about his opponent, including flipping him the finger and saying inappropriate things. This greatly angered the Chechen. He repeatedly took the fighter into clinches and sincerely beat him in the face. The poor Montenegrin was battered with knees. When Vaso Kotovich tried to make a straight kick from a turn, the Chechen simply pushed the Montenegrin's leg, causing him to lose balance. At the end of the fight, the Chechen knocked Vaso down and applied a choking technique. He couldn't bear it and asked for mercy.